Hello there. This is the Minority Health Report with Dr. O. I'm your host. Welcome. Today we're going to discuss a very weighty issue, if you know what I mean. So stay tuned as we dig in. A few weeks ago, my patient came to the office and asked me an interesting question. I hadn't seen him in a while, and he opened the conversation by asking me, Doc, do you think I'm fat? So that's an interesting way to open a conversation. This says a gentleman has always been skinny all his life, but in the last 2 years with the pandemic restrictions and everything, he put on a little bit of weight. And he actually weighed a little more than he's weighed most of his adult life. And he had this question to ask, Doc, am I fat? Initially, I thought he was joking, but I figured I needed to address it properly, and that gave me the idea for this video. Okay, let's discuss it. When does weight gain become significant? Um, right now, the most usual way to estimate your ideal weight is by a number called the BMI. BMI stands for Body Mass Index. Believe it or not, the BMI formula was created more than 200 years ago by a Belgian mathematician. Um, it's a formula that assumes that for every height, there's an ideal weight, right? So for whatever your height is, whether you're a child or you're a 7 footer, there's an ideal weight that goes with that height. There have been a few criticisms about the BMI. Some people think it overestimates your body weight or that it's not very accurate. And yes, those criticisms have a place. But mostly speaking, the BMI remains the most usual way for us to estimate ideal weight. There's an alternative to the BMI called the waist to height ratio. Some people think that's a more accurate way to estimate your ideal weight. Again, like I said, there's more ways to skin this cat, but most of us still use the BMI as our reference point for measuring ideal weight. So, what is the BMI and what does it measure? If you go by acceptable definition, a normal BMI is a number that goes from 18.5 to 25. That's what we consider normal. So for your height to weight ratio, if it's in the 18.5 to 25 range, that's assumed to be normal. Overweight is when your BMI goes from 25 to about 30, and then you're obese when you're 30 to 40. Above 40, we call morbid obesity. I will define that in a minute, explain what that means. But within the normal range of BMI 18.5 to 25, that actually encompasses up to 15 pounds, maybe more, of weight. So whether you are the little old Asian lady or you're the big boned African American or Latina woman, there's a range of weight that this takes into consideration, so that the usual argument I hear from people that, well, my family is big boned or this or the other, therefore that doesn't apply to me. I don't know that it carries a lot of weight, no pun intended. All right, the BMI is structured such that it caters to, or it reflects the weight spread across different ethnic and body types. Okay, so from 18.5 to 25 is normal BMI. 25 to 30 is overweight. 30 to 40 is obese, and above 40 is morbid obesity. Why is this classification important? Well, according to the CDC, 42% of Americans are obese. 42%. Out of that, 9.2% have morbid obesity. Now, what does it mean, 9.2%? That actually translates to about 30 million Americans with morbid obesity with a BMI of 40 or greater. In that population, when you have morbid obesity, what it means is that just based on your weight alone, you there's a medical or there are medical complications that come with the weight, just based on your weight alone. These medical problems include heart disease, include type 2 diabetes, include arthritis, especially arthritis of the knees, include sleep apnea, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. The presence of these problems on top of your weight make it very complicated, and people with these problems suffer more health issues compared to the ordinary population or the population within normal BMI. Now, it doesn't mean that if you have normal BMI that you will not develop diabetes or high blood pressure. However, when you have morbid obesity, it layers an additional layer of complication to your outcomes. So what do we do about it? Why is this important? A healthy lifestyle demands that all of us are at least aware of this situation and aim towards a healthy BMI, a healthy body mass index. It doesn't mean that if you don't achieve a BMI of 18.5 to 25 that all is lost. Actually, that's not true. The good news is, like I've been preaching to my patients for a long time, but also recently borne out by research, even with a high BMI, if you have an active lifestyle, it goes towards reducing the complications that come from these health issues. So that there is such a thing as a healthy overweight, right? You're not in the target BMI range, but you're active, you're eating right, and you live a healthy lifestyle. Your outcomes actually will still be better than those that do not. So let's put that out there. And then the next question will be, Dr. O, I'm overweight. Dr. O, I'm obese. Dr. O, I have morbid obesity. What do I do about that? The first place I go to when I talk to my patients about all things weight has to start with what you put into your body. In the tech and IT world, they will tell you junk in, junk out. If you put in junk food into your body, well, your body is going to produce junk. The low-hanging fruit in weight control is cutting out junk food, sodas, candy bars, sweet tea, what have you. Sodas and sweet tea alone, if we can cut that out of our menu, would go a long way to reducing unhealthy calories that we consume. Snacking. Most people can't go through the day without snacking. I don't snack a lot, quite frankly, but when I do, I eat nuts. I make my own trail mix. I don't buy the pre-packaged trail mix that has all kinds of non-natural things in it. By the way, this is a place where I quote my very good friend who is a weight loss doctor here in Charlotte. Many years ago, he told me this, and I told him I was going to borrow it ad infinitum, and he said, go for it. Here's what he told me. I said, if it looks like God made it, eat it, is good for you. If it looks like man has tampered with it, leave it alone, it's no longer good for you. What does this mean? Let's explore that. Eat apples in the morning, eat your bananas, leave alone the apple juice and leave alone the orange juice. Why is that? A cup of orange juice has more sugar and more stuff added to it than you will get from 2 or 3 oranges. So if you're eating 2 oranges in the morning, that's healthy for you. You get the fiber, you get the vitamins. But from the orange juice, there's other things added to it, and it's concentrated and it's more sugary and therefore more empty calories. So to quote my friend again, if it's in its natural state, oranges, grapes, bananas, eat it, is healthy for you. If it has been altered by man, leave it alone, it's no longer good for you. So that's as far as eating habits go, right? As an adult, there's a minimum amount of calories you need to consume a day to sustain your body. But you don't need to go for the second and third rounds because the food is good, right? There's some discipline that goes towards eating what you need and leaving the rest out, okay? Then the next thing will be regular exercise. Whenever I talk to my patients about exercise, I never start by telling you to go buy fancy equipment or pay for expensive gym memberships. Now, if you do that and you can use it, that's an excellent thing. The good news is that the more vigorous your exercise activity, the better for you. But that's not the point. The real deal is movement, any kind of movement designed for your well-being is good for you. I always advise my patients to start with 2 miles a day brisk walking, maybe minimum of 5 days a week. If you can do every week, perfect. That alone is enough exercise to get you to losing weight, especially if you're starting from zero. Now, the other thing to note is that there's no ceiling to how much exercise you need, right? If you're an Olympic athlete, take the Usain Bolts of this world, take the Michael Phelps of this world, they burn more calories in a day in a practice session than you burn in a month, right? So there's no ceiling to your exercise, but there's a floor, a minimum exercise that is required if you're interested in weight loss. Okay? Now, the other thing I want to talk about is the intensity of exercise. If you're going out on a walk in the evening, obviously any walking is good, but during that period, it's not the time to catch up on your phone calls or to go window shopping and the mall and all of that. All that is good, but if you want to optimize your activity, right? You want brisk walking, swinging your arms, and you want by the end of exercise or somewhere through exercise to have a film of sweat on your brow and dampness in your armpits. That indicates that you've exerted your body enough that you're sweating. The other thing that's good, if you have a dog, a large enough dog, not a puppy that can't keep up with your pace, a dog that's large enough to challenge you, take it for a walk in the evenings, right? And cover 2 miles. By the time you leave your front door, if you walk 1 mile away from your house, you need to turn around and walk 1 mile backwards to get home, unless you have to get an Uber. This is why I always preach going outdoors to do this instead of in your house, because while you're in the house, you're on a treadmill or you're starting some video exercise at home, the phone rings, the kids interrupt, the dog needs to go out, and so on and so forth. Next thing you know, you're off your rhythm and you don't go back to it. All right, so these are some common sense ways to help control your weight that yields results. The other thing I want to mention here is keeping yourself accountable. Keeping yourself accountable. If you're in the mindset to lose weight, then keep yourself accountable. Get a bathroom scale. Step on it at least once a week, maybe twice a week. See how you are doing. A lot of my patients come to the office and they get shocked. I haven't seen them in many months. They get shocked that since the last time I saw them, they have gained 10 pounds, 12 pounds, sometimes 20 pounds in just a few months. Now, I would rather hit the panic button if my weight is up by 2, 3, 5 pounds. By the time my weight is 20 pounds, and that's when I'm hitting the panic button, that's a whole lot more work to do to get back to where I started from. So what this helps me do is it helps my pendulum swing in a narrower arc than if I didn't check and I've gone 20 pounds and then I have a whole lot more work to do. So these are reasonable, simple steps to take. Now, remember, it doesn't mean that if you don't achieve a BMI of 18.5 to 25 that you haven't done well. But if you come down from 40 all the way to 30, that's a lot of weight loss. Oh, by the way, whenever you lose 10% of your body weight, it does something to your internal physiology that is very useful for you. So regardless where you're starting from, how about this? Set a goal, 10% of my body weight at least to begin. When you achieve that, you can get to the next goal and the next goal and the next goal. That's a story I would like to tell at this juncture. Several years ago, a patient of mine was going to have weight loss surgery, and I was the one that referred her because she had gotten tired of the yo-yo diet that didn't work. She was set up for weight loss surgery, and then she came to me for pre-operative clearance. By the time we got to talking, she told me, Dr. O, in the last 3 months I've been going to the weight loss surgery clinic. I've lost X amount of pounds. that, you know what, I feel motivated that I can do this for myself and I don't need to go through with weight loss surgery. It was a very well reasoned conversation, and I was very impressed with this young lady. I'm like, you know what? You don't have to have weight loss surgery to lose weight. However, most people need weight loss surgery because by the time you get to a certain weight, it's difficult to lose the weight. Guess what she did? She declined her weight loss surgery just at the last moment, declined her weight loss surgery. Fast forward these many years, she is a fitness instructor. She has her own business as a fitness instructor. She is buff. She is stronger than me today. I look at her and I look at where she started from, and I'm like, oh my goodness, what can you achieve if you put your mind to it? Now, that is just one story, right? But it illustrates what you can do as a human being if you put your mind to it. Would everybody achieve that result? Maybe not. But I'm sure if you put your mind to it, you can lose 10% of your body weight. How about we make that the goal? Okay? There are 30 million Americans that suffer health consequences based on their weight alone. I want to check you off that list. I want to take you off that list and put you on the good side. That's the story for today, and I hope this has been useful. Well, thank you for watching. Please, if you like what you hear, please hit the subscribe button at the bottom here, subscribe and follow us. Spread the news, share with your friends, and if you're local to Charlotte, we're at Crown Clinic. I'll leave the link in the comments button below. Stop by and tell us how you feel about it, and let's have further conversations. Here's to a healthy lifestyle.